Yep. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
I've never seen you do that before, Scott. Before you guys even see him, he's like, yeah, like getting jacked.
I'm ready. You have to emotionally get yourself ready.
Do you? For this? No, you don't have to. No.
I just get excited to talk sports. I don't care where it is. I don't care if we're on Sports Tonight. I don't care if we're back there talking about something. I just get excited to talk sports, Emily.
I'm sorry for interrupting your intro, so go ahead.
No, it's fine.
Scott Pennyman, Emily Gagnon. Yeah. What's today?
How you feel, Emily? Everything been good?
It's been like one of those weeks, man. This is 6 straight days of work, twice at the ballpark, which I'm not complaining about. No, like it's just, the hours add up after a while, but it's been one of those weeks, and going to Augusta and back in one day, that too will do it to you.
Oh, right off the top here, that's what we're talking about, Augusta with the Masters, because your week that has been very, very complicated so far, it ain't going to slow down. It's not slowing down, trust me, because we got the Masters coming up. We got spring games coming up. We're going to start with the Masters.
You're right.
Obviously, my extent yesterday, I was talking to Bailey, and I'm talking about just the Masters and everything. What I'm watching most, obviously, is Tiger. And what's going to happen with him? I mean, he's all ready to go, right?
Listen, what I told Lee yesterday when I was there, I told him, because I was in the room when he was talking.
Yeah.
And usually I do every year try to be there when he is talking.
Yeah.
The confidence that man has is unreal.
Yeah.
He truly will look at you, and in this, instance, he was looking at the crowd, but it seemed like he was just like piercing through everyone's souls because he was so serious. He's like, I will win my 6th green jacket.
Yeah.
And, you have to walk into a tournament like that.
Makes you almost believe it, don't you?
Believing. I mean, it's part of it, right? Like part of being an athlete and going into anything, no matter the sport you play, you have to truly believe that you're going to win. Yes, the mind is definitely stronger than the body. And for him, he needs his mind to be stronger than his body because his body has gone through so much. That car crash in 2021, he'll be like more than likely recovering from that crash for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He said yesterday there isn't a single day that he doesn't wake up without pain.
Yeah.
So he is constantly in pain every single day. Somebody asked him about his ankle, and he's like, no, that ankle's fused onto my body. Like, the ankle's not going anywhere. The ankle is there to stay. There's rods and screws and all kinds of things in there. However, given the fact that his ankle is quote-unquote okay and it's not going anywhere, there are other parts of his body that have to compensate, right? So he says, like, his back hurts or, like, other things hurt. It's not his ankle.
Sounds like a football player.
Right. So it's like all these things are in constant pain. And I remember last year when we heard from him before the Masters, he was saying, his routine is so different now since the car crash in the sense that, like, the hour he has to wake up. Now, Scott, like, he used to be able to sleep to whatever time and then wake up and go play. But now he's got to wake up hours ahead of time to get his body warmed up.
Yeah.
So the hours are so much longer now and so much greater than they once were when you just had to get up and get out of bed and go. I mean, even though, as an aging player, you probably have to do a little bit of that, but not to the extent where he has to do it.
Right.
His body's like consistently like in a cold state. It's not like literally cold, if you understand what I'm saying, but he always has to warm it up. He said he prefers warm, hot, humid climates. The one thing. Yeah. But for him, it's for his body.
Right, for sure.
What he was explaining to us yesterday was, and we all know this, but to hear him say it from his perspective, obviously, is important because if not, it doesn't make sense to you.
Right.
But the Masters, he says, when you walk it, it's about 6.5 miles, right? Going out there and, like, playing golf, if you could, like, get in a golf cart and just go to the next hole, then that'd be fine. But for him, he has to walk it. There are no exceptions for Tiger.
No.
Like, my mom last night asked me that. She's like, can he not get in a golf cart? I'm like, no, Mom, there are no exceptions.
Golf, right?
Yeah, that's part of being an athlete and playing the Masters, is you're walking like that 7 miles every day.
I want you to walk the whole course.
Correct. Like, you have no choice. What? That they couldn't get in a golf club? Golf cart?
Like they make you do that as a part of, like, why he couldn't have some exceptions made, I guess.
Well, then I feel like if he was in a golf cart, everybody else should be in one too, right? I mean, I get why...
Yeah.
He can't. But with that being said, like, the walking is kind of the biggest challenge.
For sure.
Because that's when he's like, like just hitting a golf club That's a little different than walking. But I found that interesting because he said it's one of the hillier courses in the tour. And that's the challenge for him, is the fact that he's walking about 6.5 miles a day, and it's hilly, it's up and down. And he lives in Florida. He has a home in Jupiter. Right. And he tries, before tournaments, he'll try to simulate whatever's going on, like from his home.
Right.
And he said he can't simulate.
No, I can't
you
simulate
can't
that.
simulate the Masters because of the hills. So he said every once in a while he'll like try to like get up onto something, you know, so that way it's like he's simulating it, but you really can't.
Tiger's not rich enough to just buy some hills?
I mean, I just don't. Come on, Scott. I mean, he's got enough money, and he's still. What's so great about Tiger is.
Hop on the phone. I need some hills here now by 4 o'clock.
Seriously, but he still pulls like the fans, right? Like the fans are still coming to see him. His
We're talking
name
about him now.
is still his name's being like screamed everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
People still love him.
For sure.
I think for him, and I don't know this because I don't think he would ever come out and say it. Like I think he wants to win one more. I think he wants to prove to himself and prove to others that like despite what I went through, I can still get one more.
But you know he's Tiger, so even if he wins one more, he's going to win one more. You know.
Yes, but I mean he's like, listen, this is his 26th or 7th or 8th
wow, it doesn't
appearance.
seem like it's even been that long. That's crazy.
But you know he could make history this week if he makes the cut. It would be 24 straight, and
Let's hope he does.
that would be history.
I hope he makes the cut. I'm sure CBS hope he makes the cut, right?
Oh, everybody, yeah, because the ratings go way up.
Absolutely.
We want to see him in red on Sunday, okay,
Absolutely.
guys? Like, we want to see that. We want to see other people walking around Atlanta in red on Sunday. Like, let's do it.
Hold up, Emily.
What?
Did you just say that you want to see some red this weekend?
Oh, we're going to see some red this weekend, even if Tiger's not there.
UGA and their spring
What
game.
a transition, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you. I just thought about that just on the fly.
You are just so good.
So UGA spring game, you know, I know you never miss those, right? They're famous G-Day spring game. I guess I can ask you, what are you looking forward to most as our resident UGA expert? Emily, what are you looking for most? I know yesterday we were talking, we played some Malachi Starks sound. He may or may not go for the game. He's working through some injuries and everything. So I guess not including him, what are you looking forward to most from the spring game?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the DBs. Like, don't we want to see how Coach T-Rob does with his new group of guys?
T-Rob.
I'm sure we want to see that. I'm sure a lot of fans want to see that.
Yeah.
The spring game is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. Coaches right now, and this is, I'm not giving names or anything
Locker
like
room
that.
Talk. All right.
Correct.
Some big stuff
so
coming.
what I've been hearing, coaches almost don't want these spring games to, like, be a game anymore. They kind of want it to be like a glorified practice where people can come and watch and, celebrate the team during the spring. And
that's what it was.
Listen, they want the practices, Scott. Like they need those practices. They want them.
Yeah.
However, they don't want the game to really be a game, and I'm going to explain to you why. So a lot of people will take into account how much they play during that spring game.
Yeah.
So, pretend that you are the number 2 guy at any position and you barely see the field. Okay. And it's a spring game. We all know it doesn't matter.
Right.
But that kid and that kid's parents take it to heart.
Don't be discouraged.
And guess what happens? Right as soon as that spring game's over, what do you think happens?
Kids may transfer, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That transfer portal opens, and they're like, oh, I didn't play a lot in the spring game. Or us, as the media, we report that, hey, Scott didn't get a lot of playing time. And we're just reporting facts.
I never got a lot of playing time.
We're just reporting facts here. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying that
Right.
Scott's going to play or not play come the regular season. But what's happening is that kids and parents take put a lot of like weight into what's happening during the spring game when they shouldn't. And then these kids are transferring.
Right.
Head coaches don't want that to happen. They need depth at every position. They need everybody.
Well,
So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I get
coaches
you.
now, they're like, if it's more of a glorified practice, kids can't feel that way. Parents can't say like, oh, my kid didn't get a lot of playing time during the spring game, even though we all know it really doesn't matter. But in kids' minds and parents' minds, which I understand, that is where we are in college football now.
yeah.
That's how they feel.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, Emily, because we're about to hear from a guy who ain't gonna play that much.
You never know. Don't say that. If
You're
Carson
right.
Beck
You're right.
gets hurt, if Carson Beck goes down this season, he
He's in
has
there.
to have somebody there.
That's true.
and it's going to be Gunnar Stockton.
And that somebody there is going to be, like you just said, Gunnar Stockton. Well, he hit the podium this week to talk about, probably his position being a backup and everything like that. Of course, I'm sure at some point he wants to play. But look, in the spring
What do you mean?
game,
Of course he wants to
right.
play.
Well, look, in the spring game, I'm pretty sure he's going to see a lot of action, though, right?
Okay.
He'll probably,
for sure. He'll be the starting quarterback on the other side.
Yeah. So he'll have an opportunity. So let's hear from Gunnar as he talks about being a backup and just what he's looking forward to for the 2024 season and out of the rest of his spring.
Do it to it.
Gunnar, how's spring practice been for you? Stepping up into that, number 2 role, rep increase, and all that good stuff. How's spring been for you, just overall?
Yeah, it's been good. It started off really hot. I think it was the first padded practice. I didn't throw it in completion, so just going from there and trying to build. And I mean, everybody has their bad days, and I've had them, but just keep trying to build and finish it the right way.
Sound like you lost your voice. You've been screaming, hollering. What's been going on there?
Not too. It's just a little raspy. Must be like pollen or something. It's awful.
Yeah, Gunnar, Carson is obviously a guy who waited a couple years before he stepped into the starting role. Have you spoken with him just about what it's like, I guess why you wouldn't transfer and seek greener pastures elsewhere, what it's like to wait in Athens and eventually take over that role a couple years in?
Yeah, I mean, Carson's a perfect example. He's shown resilience, and heck, he's waited his turn, and I mean, he's worked hard, and he's proven that he's one of the best quarterbacks, and it's just a privilege to kind of take from him and just get to learn from him. It's pretty awesome.
What has he told you about, I guess, why you should stay, why it could benefit you to be here for the long?
Yeah, I mean, heck, at Georgia you're going to win, so that's the biggest part. And you can go to a lot of different places, but there's a lot of things that Georgia has that they can't offer, so that's probably the biggest part.
When we talked to Coach Smart last week when he was talking about you, he talked about how valuable the Orange Bowl prep and also playing in that game he felt was for you. How valuable did you feel like that experience was and what you were able to do, not only in those practices, but actually in that game?
Yeah, it was awesome. Leading up to it, I got a bunch of reps, and just like this spring, I've gotten a couple ones reps, twos, and a bunch of threes, and just because, but I got a bunch of reps, and I think it's valuable. And I try to cherish it and just make the most of it.
Talking about those extended reps, just how big of an opportunity do you see Saturday as, and what is it that you want to show?
Yeah, heck, I want to show everybody that I can play. That's what I tried to do in the Orange Bowl, and I thought I did. And heck, it's an opportunity to just go play a game. That's the way I look at it, play with everybody.
Yeah, this spring, what have you worked on the most, and where do you think your game has improved the most?
Yeah, I've been working on, just working in the pocket and trying to develop. And, in the meeting room with Coach Bobo. Coach Bobo does a great job of teaching us and the way he explains stuff. And it's really helpful and trying to develop in that.
Okay, so I need to ask you about the Malachi Starks quit football podcast story. He said you almost made him quit football because you used to hit him so hard as a safety. You and Malachi had a rivalry, and what about your mindset? Do you still, as a quarterback, do you still play with that edge? And what do you remember about Malachi Starks and blowing him up in a couple games?
It might be true, but Malachi, he's a great guy. I mean, we played together or played against each other since I think like 7 years old whenever we started. So just going from there, and then because I never lost a game in Little League, so. Then we started playing. We played 2 years in high school, and he got me both years in high school, so he kind of got me back on that. So, but heck, he's a great guy, and it's just been awesome to kind of came in the same class and everything coming in together, and just seeing how he treats people in the building, and it's just awesome. He's a great guy.
Gunnar, obviously Georgia pursued a transfer quarterback, between the end of last season and spring practice, and with only 3 scholarship quarterbacks. How do you take that, knowing that you're trying to show them that you can be a quarterback of the future, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, Coach Smart's always said he wants 4 quarterbacks and scholarship quarterbacks on the roster, and heck, that's what it probably should be. And at the University of Georgia, I mean, as a quarterback, why not? Why not would you want to come here? So, heck, it should be a battle and competition and everything. So it's awesome.
Yeah, Gunnar, going back and watching you against Florida State, and even during your time in high school as an athlete, you play the position of quarterback with a level of physicality. I'm curious, do you ever wish your non-contact jersey was taken off, and do you feel like it kind of doesn't allow you to play the full style that you might, play on a Saturday?
Yeah, in practice with the big jokers that are out there, I might not be able to survive every day if I was getting hit. But I try to just play ball and just do the best I can do. So.
Yeah, Gunnar. Obviously, you had a chance to throw with a bunch of your teammates at the pro day most recently. How was that experience for you, getting to throw with the guys like Ladd and Marcus and Kendall and Dejan one last time, and helping those guys out when they've got the plans for the next level?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Heck, it wasn't really. I didn't think it was like, about me. It was about them and just trying to give them the best ball possible, and so they can showcase their talents. And it was just pretty cool to be able to do that for them. So that was awesome.
When you talk about the big jokers that you're going up against in practice, who's kind of stood out to you with some of the guys that are chasing you down or trying to?
Heck, all the D linemen and linebackers. Heck, they can run just about as fast as I can. So it's pretty awesome. But heck, they're great guys, and it's pretty awesome.
Charlie Warner, also from Raven County, now with the Falcons, just playing the Super Bowl. Just how cool was that for your hometown?
Yeah, that's awesome. My dad, he was the defense coordinator at the high school, and he coached Charlie all through his high school, and I got to be a ball boy on the sidelines and growing up and seeing Charlie run, and it was just pretty awesome to be able to watch that. So he was always a guy I looked up to, and still do. So that was pretty awesome.
When you look at your time here, can you put your finger on a point where you felt like it started to click, where you could recognize the defenses you were seeing? Is there a point that sort of stands out to you when you think about your time here?
Yeah. Heck, when you first got here, I didn't know what I didn't know. It's kind of like a lot of guys, but heck, the second year, not this year, and heck, it's clicking, and it's just kind of cool when it all comes together, and it's pretty cool.
Some time ago, we got to talk with Brett Thorson, who I know is one of your roommates. I know you got to spend Christmas with him and got to spend some time with him. What has it been like to spend a lot of time with him, and not only as your roommate, but someone that you welcomed into your house? And how often has your dad kind of bothered him about his old glory Georgia days?
Yeah, I hadn't heard any stories about what Dad said, so Brett might be lying a little bit on that one. No, but he's an awesome guy, and he's a great roommate. And heck, I got to meet his family when they came over for I think 2 months or so, or a month they stayed. They're an awesome family. They're dairy farmers in Australia, and he comes from a great family, and he's a great guy.
It was good to hear from those UGA guys once again ahead of the spring game, which will be this weekend. Good old G-Day. Hey, WNBA out here doing big things in these streets, Emily. All right, WNBA, big-time TV deals as they reach an agreement with CBS. Is going to broadcast 20 WNBA games this upcoming season. No doubt, this is the Caitlin Clark effect.
One woman. I mean, this is awesome.
But
honestly, like, beyond her, though, credit to her. Like,
sure.
LSU, South Carolina, I mean, as a team, I feel like they, too, in the years coming to this, have helped. But
sure.
Caitlin Clark has definitely pushed, like.
Right. I mean, she's pretty much what I'm not saying to this extent, but what Caitlin Clark is to the women's game is very similar to what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird was in the early 80s for the NBA. Remember, in the late 70s, the NBA was going through their struggles. They were struggling to find their next new stars, and when Bird and Magic came along, they were a game changer. It changed everything. So when you look at Caitlin Clark here and what she's doing for the WNBA, 36 of their 40 games next season for the Indiana Fever this coming season will be nationally broadcast. 36
What if they decide to go another direction?
out of 40. I know. What if they just didn't draft her?
They're like, psych.
Look, I think at this point they're like, look, you drafting Caitlin Clark.
I
We're
know,
not asking
you have no choice.
but we're telling you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so just when you think about her impact, I mean, whether you love Caitlin Clark, don't really love her, whatever it is, whatever you feel for her, there is no denying
Don't be a hater.
her impact on the women's game and just look. You may have some current players who may be a little bit jealous and maybe they want to rough her up because they didn't get the attention that she's gotten.
No.
But, well, you know that's going to happen, Emily. I mean,
No, they're going to play her hard, but I don't think it's because of,
like some jealousy?
No.
Okay, but look, I think the big
She's
thing-
helped the game.
Exactly. I think so. Like, as a person who's on the outside watching the game, I mean, obviously, I don't think CBS is getting – I don't think all these networks are getting involved right now if there was no Caitlin Clark is what I'm saying.
I
Right?
hear you.
So I think that the current players should be very grateful. They should be thankful for someone like Caitlin Clark coming along because she's their bridge to more exposure and ultimately more money, right? And that's what they've been asking for.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Pay these ladies.
Yeah, so I think
Dawn Staley needs a raise.
Well, I think she'll get that coming right. I mean,
A
she's
fat one.
I think what she's done for women's basketball and women's college basketball and just the sport in general, I mean, it's
But her pay compared to like
immeasurable.
Martin, who used to be USC's head coach,
Yeah.
men's head coach, like not even
Well,
close.
that definitely needs
And-
to change because I'm pretty sure she's a better coach. That's Frank Martin, right?
Yeah.
She's a much better coach than Frank Martin. So, yeah.
She's a better coach than
maybe anybody in the country. She's in the top 2 or 3, 4, top 5 in the country for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Pay her.
Yeah, so she deserves whatever bag they're going to give her. I'd be surprised if another school, imagine another
I
school
was like,
right
why
now.
didn't Tennessee try to go after her?
I'm just saying, I
I'm
mean-
sure her contract. Well, I'm not sure, but her contract might have a, an SEC deal thing.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
just whatever bag they're planning to give
But
her.
I also think she's very happy in South Carolina from what I've read, and I don't
Yeah.
know her personally.
I mean, she's winning, but I mean, hey, if somebody comes with a better bag, I'm pretty sure she feels like she could win at USC or wherever, right? You know how that goes. Hey, I just fresh back from Morehouse. Look, we don't do a lot of Morehouse football, right?
Let's do it.
But Morehouse football, this past offseason. Now, last year was a rough year. They went 1-9. So they changed the direction of things over there, and they brought in former Atlanta Falcons great wide receiver Terance Mathis to be their new head coach. And when you just talking with him today, he definitely seems like a guy who's ready for the task of trying to transform a program into what they need to be able to get more exposure within the city. It's a lot of really good college football teams around here, right? So they have to sort of fight for your affection. But he's got some plans in place right now to help that program grow. And he has the knowledge of a 13-year NFL vet, so he knows what it's like to win. He knows what the team needs to be good. But he also seems to understand the assignment as a native of the area to really make the program popular in the community. So he's super enthusiastic about taking over as the coach, and you'll hear it in his voice here. Look, he's ready for whatever as far as the task of getting Morehouse football where it needs to be.
Well, first of all, when you get hired as a new coach and you get the job, people say you got to go in there and change the culture. You don't really change a culture. You just add to something that's if it's something you like, you just add to it to just try to make it better. And so what we're trying to do, we don't talk about culture, we're talking about changing the atmosphere. And that's what we've done so far. I think we've changed the atmosphere around here. These young men have been hungry for some time now to be taught, to be loved on, to be appreciated, hey, we're demanding whatsoever. And the expectations now is very, very high.
Yeah, talk about those high expectations. Obviously, last season probably wasn't what they wanted here and everything like that. So when you see the way things have been before you came, what are some of the first things you thought for yourself? Okay, we're going to change this. We're going to do that.
It's funny you say that because we don't even talk about last year or the past. I don't even know. So we try to block that out of our minds and talk about where we are now and where we're trying to go. Most head coaches will sit here and say, hey, give me a time to build the culture, recruit better, whatsoever. Here's my thing. Tell the truth. If you're not trying to win right now, you shouldn't be in this business. And that's where we are. We want to win right now. And, hey, look, we don't know what the future holds, but if we have that attitude, we speak it, you never know what's going to happen.
What does it take to change the program around? I mean, obviously, with your experience, you've probably seen things at the bottom, seen things at the top. So what do you think is going to take to change things?
Trust. We got to trust each other. They have to trust what we're telling them, and we got to trust that they're going to do what we ask them to do. That's where it comes down to, trust and accountability. And then at the end of it all, you got to love each other. You got to really, really love each other. That means you're going to hold each other accountable, and you're going to make sure you don't want to let that next guy down. And, you know, one of the first things we always talk about is putting God first. Putting God first. You put God first. We talk about praying for each other, not praying for ourselves. Let's pray for the next guy and be a blessing to them and watch the whole program get blessed. And that's the way we talk around here, man. That's just who we are right now.
You talk about one day you wanted to be a coach for a long time, so you know it wasn't just one of those situations where you were sitting around and they just sprung on you, right? What were the steps it took for you to become a head coach?
Well, I started this journey a long time ago. First went personal training, and then I had an opportunity to do an internship with the Baltimore Ravens. And then I became offensive coordinator in 2011, 2012 at Savannah State. Left there, then became a high school coach for a number of years. Haven't coached in the last 2 years, but my steps are ordered by God. He put this on me. I know my assignment, you know. I know the assignment, and this is something I've been working for. I've sent resumes to over 100 schools. Maybe if you want to count them 2 or 3 times that I've done it over the last 12 years, it's probably 125 times I've sent my resume out. I've had maybe a couple of interviews over those 12 years, and a lot of no callbacks and no emails backs or anything like that, no response. You know, some schools will send letters and thank you, but overall, 90% of them never return calls. And I'm just so glad that Morehouse did. I am so grateful. Every day I come in here grateful. And I said, I'm going to give them my all because they took a chance with me. And I'm going to give them everything that I got. And these young men, and we're going to mold these young men to become professionals. They may not become professional football players, but they're going to become professionals at something. I know my assignment, and we're here to execute that assignment.
And then you see other coaches, I mean, obviously bigger at HBCUs, you know, especially in a place like Atlanta, which you've been around for a while. It's got to be special. Maybe it did take you a while to get to this point to be a head coach, right? But I mean, it seems like the perfect place for you.
Well, you got to think about it. It's special. I grew up 30 minutes from here. I played 3 blocks from here. This is special. And you got to understand, it's special in a number of ways because we know about the distinguished Morehouse men that's left here and world renowned. It's changed the world. It's changed the way people think about men of color or people of color. I mean, it's a historical place, and I have opportunity to be here and step on this campus and walk around in these buildings where these men have taught and have learned and have spoke and all these things. This is special. We're on Edwin Moses track. Come on, man. There's nothing better than Morehouse College.
And so, if you're talking to somebody who's in this area, right? I mean, you obviously got UGA down the road, you got Georgia Tech, you got a bunch of different schools around here. To a regular person who wants to see a football game on afternoon, why should they come here and watch these games?
Because it's uncommon. That's the term we use. We're uncommon. We're not cookie cutter. We don't do what everybody else does. We're not cookie cutter. We do things uncommon. You have a head coach that's energy. I run stretch. I'm doing drills. I'm doing all these. It's uncommon. Our energy, the way we practice, you wouldn't believe how much we get done in 90 minutes. And the thing is it's just different. What we do in Atlanta, I tell you, it's uncommon, but it's fun. It's fun. It's energetic. It feels like you're part of it. It's a family atmosphere here. So if you come here, we're gonna treat you like you're family. I'm gonna speak to you. I'm gonna wave at you. Hey, welcome to the house. This is our house. This is my house now. Welcome to my house. And I'm gonna greet you as a guest in my house, and you're gonna leave my house feeling good about it.
It's on yours. You done?
No,
Anything?
just hey, look. I tell you what. With some of my, we're good. We're back up now. We're good. Just NFL draft. I'm excited about that coming up in a couple weeks. So excited to see what the Falcons do.
Okay, bye. We
That's
gotta
been
go.
Sports Tonight here for a Wednesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Emily, always fun.
Good
We're getting out of
night.
here. Good night, everybody.